Was our egos interfering? I don't know what just happened. Okay. So I was see, and now you guys can see. All right, so let's just get into what's going on here. That is so weird. Anywho, this Nicki Minaj being here doesn't really make sense. But she's been like linked to the people who are pushing a certain agenda. So it does feel like that's why she's being like, I guess, shown. We have 22 master builder infrastructure industrialized harm systems. Okay, so I asked, are egos interfering with collaboration? We have industrialized harm basically. So it's like somebody thinks that they're too big and bad to fail. They got it under control. Meanwhile, there's a larger thing at play, and that could be why the FBI is like, hey, we need to step in because this is a national security issue, and you withholding information could really jeopardize maybe the country. Okay, that could be like the scary, spooky side of whatever the plot is. Okay, or being positioned as. I don't know. I hope I didn't cut out like too much. I barely saw when the camera cut off, but who benefits from controlling narrative timing? The entrepreneur, reward, risk, ambition. It almost feels like the person putting it together, but let me clarify. We have okay. Porn? What does porn have to do with anything? Longing, deep emotional yearning, desire. Okay. Somebody wants somebody wants control over the timing and the narrative because it's a big case. Purge wipes out multiple groups. Okay, that could be what's at risk too. But let me move on. Power grab is also underneath that card though. Illuminati groups, whatever. These people, the rednecks. This is so funny. Okay, so this is that same energy from the punk rockers and the bad cops. I gotta find that reading. The reading I did like 3 weeks ago was about Savannah. And I had no idea because I mean, when I use this conspiracy deck, like I have no idea who they're talking about unless the specific name comes out. But anyway, um, and sometimes that doesn't even help. Cash Patel just flew out. All right. Now let's move on. Cash Patel is the one with the ego. Okay, so Cash and Nanos are clashing. That makes sense. Were contracts nearing expiration? Were these contracts nearing their expiration date? Because Chad or whatever his name is, I don't know what he got going on, but the dreamer, vision for the future, ideation, aspirations. So that could have something to do with like maybe he always had a desire to be in that town specifically. Maybe it's more convenient for him to be in that town. Maybe he knows the town. Maybe there's something significant about his knowledge of the town or lack thereof that makes this significant for whatever reason. We're going to find out why. Not in this reading, maybe, but we will find out because I'm not going to drop this story. I feel like one, the Nancy Guthrie case is going to uncover so many other things. Okay, you could say what you want about the level of exposure that it's given, but it's giving us not just tea, it's also giving us like the level of intel that supports what's going on in terms of like the other headlines that they are trying to really suppress. Okay, what else do I want to ask? Has the board of supervisors publicly commented on performance? The lepers, spasm of violence. Oh gosh. All right. I don't know if the board of survivors have publicly commented. I don't even know why I wanted to write that question down because honestly, that isn't even. I can't conclusively come up with that. I feel like, however, I mean, unless I just go look for it, you get what I'm saying? But this came out before about the lepers, like the undesirables and people trying to get rid of them, like a specific group benefiting from getting rid of the lepers, the people who, um, like the weirdos, they're considered to be weirdos. How they're showing, okay, this energy is showing up as people who would be opposing um liberals. Okay, remember I said in one of these videos I was like, some people use that term almost like as a slur to call someone a alt-right liberal or whatever. Like some people use that in that reference. So but that's kind of the energy of one of these groups, or the people, because it's like individual. I've been saying this for 6 months, I feel like, but it's more so it's not, it's like these people are tied to groups, but they have their personal agendas also. Telephone psychics are here. I know there's been a lot of conversation about people, um like, where are the psychics? I mean, we're right here, child. I'm right here. Look at all the videos that I put out. I feel like I'm the only psychic. I don't like calling myself a psychic, but I know that I'm an intuitive. I feel like I'm the only intuitive right now on the platform who is actively covering it, almost in alignment with um official news. Even though I've already told you the official news is always going to be super late, but which is why I do this. What was the other question? Okay, I just have a couple more and then we're going to close out. Is there documented interagency disagreement? Like, is this being like recorded? Crusade, religious war strengthens religious attacks. Okay. So this group likes to use or weaponize religions. We've already been picking up on this, right? But it could be documented in the future about how this really went down. The spotlight is underneath that. So I think this is what they are scared of. It's like almost like the crusade is afraid of the exposure, the scrutiny, okay? The public attention that would be involved with people knowing who they really are. They want this to happen, okay? A huge global conflict that'll wipe out certain groups because they want to eliminate as many people who are on that side that's opposing their side so that they can keep thriving, okay? um has the FBI publicly confirmed the cooperation level yet, or will the FBI publicly confirm cooperation level? Because I feel like Cash tried to say something, but I don't know. It just seems like people just lie. Strange bedfellows, temporary alliance, space shuttle. Is there something going on? I feel like something just launched, right? There was something launching. That launch, that actual event could be significant in terms of like the symbolism. So the launch of a new alliance, the strange bedfellows, like people who probably shouldn't get along are cooperating right now. Cash could make a statement that they're working closely with law enforcement at Pima County, blah blah blah. But it's in reference to making the public feel comfortable, making them have like a certain level of trust. Um, but I don't think that's necessarily gonna work. Okay, has any evidence changed custodial chains? This flew out. The aurora, rare energy, divine beauty. Has evidence changed? Something related to Nancy. Okay. Has any evidence changed? Jihad. Oh no. Adds power to a violent attack. Okay. Um, Brotherhood is underneath this. I'd be so scared to flip over cards sometimes. It's something about, and then underneath the deck we have the gun lobby and fraternal orders. What? And media circus. That's exactly what's happening. Now, what's crazy is, what did I ask? I asked, has the evidence changed? I feel like the evidence is changing that there are these people involved or some type of this involved. It could be more of a threat. It could be more of like violent than they think. And they want to avoid this, but this has already happened. They're already at risk for this continuing to be like a media circus. They're trying to keep this as low as possible in terms of like the ridiculousness, I think. Okay, let's get to the impact. Has public trust impacted the administrative stability? And then I'm going to get out of here. Deep secrecy. This is what the public feels about this situation. 77 could be significant. 77. Year 1977. Somebody could be born 1977 or be 77. I don't know. I feel like if you're 77, like, what are you doing on the force? What exactly are you doing? Um, I wouldn't expect anybody to be a sheriff, to be honest, at 77. That's when you're supposed to be retiring. But anyway, it's more so about like sending the way that the public trust is moving. It's like sending the people in paranoia loops. Okay, everybody's paranoid. That's this media circus with the deep secrecy is like everybody has an opinion about what's going on. Oh, what this could be linked to, about this piece of evidence is over here. Oh, these people are not getting along. Oh, these people are shifting positions. There's so many stories that aren't anything really to do with Nancy. And I think people need to go back to the drawing board in terms of Nancy. Because if you stay focused on Nancy, then you can actually weed out the noise a little bit. Okay. So, final question, and we're going to leave. Is this about performance or perception? Is this about performance or perception? Is this about performance or perception? We have computer espionage, hack into rivals group for info. Oh, they want to know what the other group knows. Feminists, weird liberals, good against conservative groups. Okay, so again, remember that duality between like liberals and the conservatives. Video pirates, weird media hackers. There's something to do with like the electronic information. Remember yesterday the email data analysis card and the something about the metadata was significant. I think they want to know also the origin of like, where does this stem from? Where is this coming from? These threats, this ransom. But if they know it's an inside job, then it's more so about finding info about the other person, the other group, like getting info on about like what they're trying to do next to counteract it, something like that. Okay. Underneath is enforcement. 44 could be significant. Somebody could be 44, law, surveillance, order, hard structure. So again, like I said, it's like trying to build off of intel or information so that they can have control over a narrative. All right. So I'm gonna close it out here. I feel like, well, ooh, one last question. Um, hmm. Is the control being prioritized over the coordination? It's like authority being protected more than like the truth is. Clone Island. I'm just gonna be quiet because we already know what that is. The normals, conformist masses. All right. Um, all right. Is this gonna destabilize this whole case? Is this gonna destabilize the case? Is this gonna destabilize the case? These cards look crazy. Viral marketing, boost media. Okay, so there's just gonna be a lot more media involved in this situation. I don't know. I'm kind of like over it. It's just ugh. I'm over it. I'm trying not to be over it too much because I feel like I'm working around the clock for Nancy and justice for Nancy, blah blah blah. But not just justice for Nancy only. It's like the the implications of this case, finding out like what's really going on has to do with like the larger stuff, not just about like us not focusing on the larger stuff, but us actually getting to like the root of it. Okay, and this does have some connection. Okay, so um we can kind of infer that what destabilizes cases often is not always corruption. It can be ego, it can be, territorialness, the optics of it all, the funding, the reputation management, like it can be all of those things. I hope this episode made sense and resonated. Please make sure that you hit that like button because I feel like this kind of explores the leadership transitions within, the sheriff's department during this ongoing case with Nancy. And I think it clearly shows some of what's going on in terms of like the power shifts, the decisions about the evidence being rerouted and all of that stuff. So this discussion is going to raise some more questions. Hopefully, not too many more accusations because Chris Nanos does not need any more. Um, and yeah, that's about it. I love you guys. I will see you guys in the next reading. Okay, bye.